Hello, I recently got back from a 10-night stay in Florida, and whilst there I was lucky enough to do the RIP Tour at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. I'll do a separate upload ranking the houses, but if you're considering a tour in the future, I thought I'd just cover blow by blow what we did on the night. Let's have a look. Before we start, just to let you know that I'll be talking about the night and what I thought of things, but I won't be showing any footage for inside this year's houses. You're not allowed to record in them, and that's a good thing really, as it means everyone just enjoys them. If you do want to see inside them, there are some far better YouTubers who have amazing recordings from inside these at the previews, so please check them out. So as you approach the park, you will see the entrance to the right of the gates. It's well signposted and you head towards there. Before you start, you are given an RIP lanyard and pass for the night to say that you were on the tour, and a badge which is just a nice keepsake. If this is your first time attending, you can also actually return here at the end of the night and they'll give you some free badges that say "My First Halloween Horror Night" or something like that. You'll notice I'm not showing this here though, as I forgot to go back when I left. So the evening started with us heading to Cafe La Bamba ahead of our scheduled tour start time. You wait in here until your start time and they have some free food and drinks for you to try out, which is good as you don't have to fight the usual queues at the food booths. I went for the Fallout Spam in like a chili glaze and potato croquettes. And with this I got this dessert deviled egg. I have to say I'm glad I got these for free. They were interesting but they're just weird textures and both of them weren't for me. Anyway, this is a good place to start and make sure you're well fed and hydrated, and after your tour start time has passed, you can then head over to the horror makeup show to get allocated into your tour group. For the tour, you are being guided through the 10 Halloween horror houses, 4 scare zones, 3 themed areas, and 2 shows, all whilst having your guide lead the way and ensuring that you don't need to queue for any of this. We had a group of 12 and our tour guide for the night was Stefania, and I really can't praise her enough, she was incredible. You follow her around for the night as she holds up this lightsaber, or glowing stick because they probably don't say that word in this part due to another close one. As you leave here, you are opposite Mel's Diner, or as it is for Halloween Horror Nights, Mel's Die-In, and we were treated to some roller skating zombies terrorising passers-by. From here we headed through to our first scare zone, the Masquerade Dance with Death. This is where you walk through a masquerade ball party, but not a nice one like Bridgerton, it is instead filled with vampires. I've never done a Halloween Horror Nights before, or anything like this really, and it just feels so surreal walking through the middle of this and having people lunge at you. Nobody touches you, but all the actors are superb, and I just really enjoyed this. And this is outside, it's not even in a house, so I knew I was in for an amazing night. From here we then get to another scare zone, and this was the Origins of Horror. This is where I really first saw the benefit of us having a guide. It is a strange area with statues for this year's IP horror houses, but Stefania explained to us that they were made by Sergio Navarro, a character from this year's El Artista house, who was almost like this year's unofficial horror icon. So having this context and background of everything that's happening is very useful. I don't think if I'd have had a guide I wouldn't have even connected these to El Artista or even known what Sergio's name was. There are also no stupid questions if you have a guide. There probably are, but she doesn't make you feel stupid for asking them. So definitely use the guide as much as you can. Just don't ask if you can record in every house or anything like that, because the answer will be no.
Does anybody have any questions?
But do any of these
houses let you record inside?
No, they don't.
This section does look fantastic, and the sculptures are well made, and the costumes for the scare actors as gargoyles and these big crows are just incredible. My cat would have loved these, or either that or been terrified of them. After this we then headed to our first horror house, and my first ever horror house. It was El Artista, a Spanish haunting, and for my first experience of a horror house I loved it. I was surprised to see Stefania actually go through the house with you. These guides have such a strange job having to walk through these every time they do a tour. They must build up an incredible tolerance to people jumping out at them, as through the whole night I still didn't get used to it, and I was still shrieking even when it happened at the end of the night. As I said at the top, I'll go back in a bit more detail on what I thought of the houses on my separate ranking video. From here we then went straight to our second house, the WWE Horrors of the Wyatt 6. If any of you have seen my earlier upload prior to my trip where I watched just loads of films to get ready for this, you'll know that the WWE house was the one I was most looking forward to, and this was absolutely everything I wanted. Before entering, Stefania again did the introduction and background to what we were about to enter, and she asked if anybody was a WWE fan. My hand shot up. It's fair to say I'm more of an AEW fan now, but I have just loved wrestling all my life. Looking round though, it was clear I was the only one with my hand up. Despite this, after coming out of the house, I do think I probably enjoyed it more than most, but it still seemed popular with everyone who wasn't a wrestling fan. It was just a fun one to go through, whether you got the Easter eggs or not, and I think they took into account how to make it still entertaining for people who aren't super fans. After this, it was then on to House 3, and this was 5 Nights at Freddy's. This is where the savings of the wait time really come into effect. We walked straight in, but this was easily the most popular house this year. We walked past a huge crowd of people. I think it was about 90 minutes, and it really hit me how lucky we were to be doing this and avoiding waiting around. After this, we were 3 houses down, but we then had the first of a few breaks that you have during the night. For this, we headed into what is in the daytime the Jimmy Fallon ride. There is a lot of walking, and it is good to get these rests throughout the evening. Even at this time of year, it's still pretty hot in Florida, and it's good just to stay hydrated. Here we sat down for 15 minutes, and you can get free soft drinks or water, all of which is lovely and chilled. And if you want to, if you're feeling stressed from the houses and wanted something stronger, you can even buy a cocktail or alcohol here, which despite having to pay, is much better than fighting the queues outside. After the refresh, it was then back onto the tour and we headed on to our next scare zone. This was Mutations of the Toxic 20s. It was just starting to get darker around now, and this looked great with the neon green lights. This area is like the 1920s Prohibition era gangsters crossed with the Toxic Avenger, and some of the costumes are just superb. Or as they may say, superb. This then led us to our next house, Grave of Flesh. This was maybe the one I was least excited to before I came, as I thought it sounded a bit generic compared to the others, but Stefania did a brilliant job of setting this up, and the entrance when you look up and see your own grave did look amazing. I also don't know what it was, but I felt like I was targeted in this one. Some houses you see people in front of you get the scare and then you're next, but in this one everyone just seemed to be targeting me. I don't know if all the staff got together and decided to pick on me or something, but this one was an ordeal to get through. It was getting so much at one point that I even screamed just at a general worker stood there doing nothing because I was so used to everything else jumping out at me. It was then on to another house that I was looking forward to with Terrifier. Stefania warned us before entering that there are 2 possible paths to exit, a dry path or a wet path. We went the wet way and you do get pretty wet, but not too bad, and I would recommend going this way as the others who went on the dry path did say it pretty much just ended there. This does bring me on to another good thing about the tour, and that is as a group of people you do get chatting and getting to know the people who you're with, and we were in a really great group. And I'd even go further just to say the whole environment around these nights just seems so friendly. Everyone is at the park to be scared and have a good time, and lots of people are dressed up in horror things and stuff. I didn't dress up too much for the night, but I did wear this walking around to represent my main man, Jason. But the whole thing has just such a friendly atmosphere. I know that it can be easy for me to say as a guy, as it could be a very different experience for some other people, and I'm definitely not speaking for everyone. But for me personally, everyone I met was just so friendly and there for a good time, and I loved the whole experience. And I am keeping this friendly talk going, as after this we walk through Club Horror. This is not a scare zone, it's like a disco area with these dancers. We also visited here another night.
So go back to the club.
And during this year's Horror Nights, Art the Clown was also making a walk around the park. Whilst we were getting drinks at the bar, Art ran up and honked us. After this happened, a lady I'd never met before came running over to say she recorded it and sent me the video for a nice keepsake. This is the one I'm showing here, and that was just really lovely of her. Top marks to that nice friendly lady, whoever she was. After Club Horror, we then got to break stop number 2, and this time it's in Lombard's Seafood Grill. This is a nice setting, but one thing to point out if you do go in here on your RIP tour. The water is free, but you do have to pay for soft drinks if you want one. Water was fine though, and I was mostly just happy to have a stop here for a bathroom break. After leaving here, we then walk through the Simpsons area, and this is where you encounter the Chainsaw Gang. They jump out on you, but it is most effective here just for the sound of the chainsaws. They are so loud and it's such a great prop. It was then on to the next house, but there was an issue here. We were supposed to go to Doll's Let's Play Dead, but there was a problem with the house and it was temporarily down. Stefania was great though and changed the plan and instead took us to Galkin. She was superb at filling us in with different facts and keeping things going whilst we were changing plans. On our way, we also passed through the Harry Potter area and saw the Death Eaters out. I believe this is random if you will see these, as they only pop out at certain times. If you do miss them on your tour, you can come back here though, as this footage I got is from another night. If you were a Harry Potter fan, then you might want to see this, but if not, then I don't really think you're missing much if you don't catch these. The area does look nice at night though. When we got to Galkin, this also definitely delivered. It is the Nordic house, and I know it can be hard to decide what houses to visit if you only have a limited time here, but I highly recommend this one. Out of all of them, it felt like this had the best build throughout the house. This was then followed by another house that I was really looking forward to, with Fallout, and if you're a fan of the show, this was great fun. Before going in, the group again did a poll, and there were a few of us who were fans of either the show or the game, and this one did seem to be popular with people who were fans of either of those. After this, it was then time for a rest again, but this time it is to sit down and watch a show. This is Nightmare Fuel, Circus of Decay. Stefania described this as almost like a Las Vegas show, and that's pretty much what it's like. I imagine it's what a Cirque du Soleil type thing it would be, and everyone in it is fantastic. Being part of the tour, we had seats reserved about 3 rows back, and we had a perfect view. Special praise here also has to go to the staff who seat people, as I don't think I've ever seen better people at getting a crowd hyped up. They really give this job their all. They also do a strange warning at the start of the show saying the performers are pretty scantily clad. It's kind of tongue-in-cheek warning though, and they say it just to get a big cheer from the crowd.
$4.16, pervert.
$4.16, pervert! What do you call it, pervert?
It's written on the bill!
The show was highly impressive, although we did have a slight worry at the end. As it was setting up for the big finale, all the lights came on, and they said unfortunately the show has to finish without it. This was a worry, as there are some high-flying stunts in this, and we were a bit concerned someone may have been injured or something. But thankfully Stefania confirmed this wasn't the case. It was just some equipment wasn't working properly. Regardless of that, this show was still fantastic and definitely worth checking out. After this sit down, we were now on our last stretch of the tour, starting with a walk down the Cat's Lady of Crooked Lane scare zone. Again, this was a good one to get the story from Stefania. As you walk down, you see trick-or-treating children slowly becoming more like cats, until you get to the Cat Lady's house at the end and they look like this. Then it was into Dolls Let's Play Dead. We were told before entering that there are also some interactive buttons in this to look out for, and it was good seeing our tour members all scouting them out as we walked round. Just a word of warning on this house though, it is a bit stinky. It kind of has that plasticine smell, so be wary if you don't like that. In my previous upload, watching lots of films to get ready for this, I did watch Toy Story for this house, and that seemed like the perfect preparation. It is very much like being in Sid's house from that, only this time it is the house of a child named Abby. This was followed up by Hatchet and Chain Demon Hunters. Stefania explained the story of this house, with it previously being a smaller part of a previous house named Slaughter Cinema, and this one was great fun even before you got inside it. Then we were on to our final house, and on the way we passed Sergio Navarro and Abby who you could pose for photos with, and we did see several people doing this. Then final house time, we were here to see my main man Jason. I do like the Friday the 13th films, and I loved ending the night seeing my boy in action.
This is my boy!
This house is a good one, and the end of this is incredibly intense and very enjoyable. A perfect end to the houses. We weren't finished though. The tour was over, but then we could head to see the Lagoon Water Show, named Haunt Ophonic, A Ghoulish Journey. I've no idea what that name means. Being part of the tour though, you can enter a reserved area here for good viewing, but if I'm honest, I think pretty much anywhere would give you a good view of this. I've never really seen anything like this before, and again I was just blown away. It's hard to believe something this impressive could just be done with lights and water. And that was it then. So did I think this was worth it? As my first visit, I'm going to say 100% yes. It is pricey, the cost varies depending on what day you come. And it's also worth noting the cost is on top of your ticket price to already enter for the night. Knowing you'll see absolutely everything though, and just getting all the facts, it was great and easily my favourite part of my 10 days in Florida. Being from the UK, I am also never sure really when to tip in America and when not to, but here our guide was amazing, so I had no doubt at the end that I should have been giving them one. I do think you would still have an amazing time without this though, so you could have a good time without spending this extra. I entered the park some other nights whilst not on the tour, and even then we still walked around for a while, and it was just great whatever time you entered. Another fun thing for the night is they also have some of the rides still open, and there was pretty much no queue for any of these when we went past. I mean, you can't just walk past the mummy ride and not go on it, can you not? Now that's covered what we did then, I will do a separate upload to rank what I thought of the houses. If you don't want to miss that, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all again soon. Cheers!